but it's also shaped by the Earth's inner heat in another, even more dramatic way. This extraordinary rock face at Thingvellir shows how. From the air, it's clear just how unusual this rock face is. It's a crack in the Earth's surface that runs as far as the eye can see. But even this is just a small part of something far bigger. To the left is a gigantic slab of the Earth's crust which runs unbroken for 7,000 kilometers. From here, under the Atlantic, across the USA, and all the way to California. It's what's known as the North American Plate. The Earth's surface is broken up into 7 vast chunks called plates. They're so enormous they can carry an entire continent, even extending under the ocean. Strip away the Atlantic, and the long boundary between 2 plates that runs along the ocean floor is exposed, until it rises above the waves and cuts through Iceland, to eventually join up with the rock face at Thingvellir. These sheer rock faces were once joined together, but driven by the churning force of molten rock beneath them, the land was split apart. It happens because hot rock from the Earth's interior rises up. Near the surface, the rock spreads sideways in 2 directions. It begins to lose heat. Eventually, the much cooler rock sinks back down. Through this spreading process, the Earth's crust is very slowly dragged apart. And it's this that ultimately causes the continents to move. The lava lake at Erta Ali is an example of the same process, but in miniature. Convection currents move a skin of cooled lava across the surface, just as the continents are moved. To grasp this idea of continents moving, you have to step outside human timescales. The continents here in Iceland are drifting apart at 2 centimetres every year. In a human lifetime, that's just a couple of steps. But think in terms of millions of years, and it's clear just what can happen. $225 million years ago, our planet was unrecognizable. All the continents were joined together in a single supercontinent called Pangaea. As the plates moved, this supercontinent broke up. New oceans formed as continents drifted around the globe. It's this that has created the world we know today. But the churning heat beneath us means the plates never stop moving. In the distant future, our continents will be once again reunited in another giant supercontinent. This is what happens when plates move apart. But when they collide, the results can be even more dramatic. The collision of the Earth's plates is responsible for the most spectacular mountain ranges on the planet. like the Southern Alps in New Zealand. These stunning peaks run 500 kilometres along the west coast, forming a dramatic spine down the island. Tens of millions of years ago, what was to become New Zealand was just a group of scattered islands. Gradually, the collision of the Pacific and Australian plates forced these islands together, creating the familiar outline of New Zealand we know today. Along the collision zone, the land was buckled and a line of mountains rose up. New Zealand's mountains are around 5 million years old. That may sound ancient, but it's just a geological blink of an eye. Yet even in this short timescale, these peaks have grown into giants, many over 3,000 metres high. All the great mountain ranges formed in this way as the planet's inner heat forced the continents to collide, crumpling the surface of the Earth. The European Alps, the South American Andes, the Himalayas of Central Asia. They're all relatively young, born out of recent collisions between plates. Sometimes you can actually see their growing pains. Earthquakes are a horrific force of destruction. Entire cities can be wiped out at terrible human cost. They happen when the Earth's plates push against each other and get stuck. Stress builds up until it's suddenly released.